the moderator of this panel today. Before we get started, we want to remind you about our We Can Be Heroes campaign. Last year, the Justice League joined the fight against hunger in the Horn of Africa. Some 8 million people need basics like food, clean water, and medicine. Together, we raised over $2 million. We thank you very much for your support. But it's not enough. This year, DC's We Can Be Heroes campaign is doing something different, kind of cool. We're giving exclusive access to Batman-themed merchandise and once-in-a-lifetime experiences to fans who join the cause. So our top creators have designed some cool variant covers, some limited edition lithos, and behind-the-cowl experiences now up for bid on Indiegogo. The URL is on the slide, and you can also get it on the DC website. We're adding new stuff weekly, but this round lasts until May 10th. So wait till you see what's next. And again, we thank you for your support, and we look forward to your continued support. So thank you, guys. So we're going to run through some slides and some stuff up here on the... Are we? Yeah. Right now, at the same time, we're going to give all of you copies of a variant issue of one of the issues of All-Star Batman and Robin. But that will be done so quietly and so subtly, even I will not even know what's going on without having it pointed out to me. First up, we have the Trinity War beginning in August through Justice League Dark, and Justice Mr. Harris? Wonderful. Mr. Harris has delegated to me to mention that this will be running across those 3 Justice League books, and we'll also have additional tie-ins, as you might have heard about. It was Constantine and Pandora and the Phantom Stranger. Next up, we have Superman Unchained, a big, nice Superman book by newcomers Scott Snyder and Jim Lee. And inside of this comic, there will be a section that folds out and makes, 4 pages as it folds out and tells a story. And so on both sides of this, it's kind of a poster story within the story. And look for that the week that the Man of Steel movie comes out, because we just want to make sure we got your attention about Superman coming up. All right, we have in Batman itself by Scott Snyder. Starting in 22, we have 0 Year, where Scott will give you a look at his ideas on the motivations and what makes Bruce Wayne tick. Over in Nightwing 22, we have Kyle Higgins to tell us what's going on there, right?
Sure.
Thank you, Kyle.
Well, for those of you that don't know, although I feel like I'm probably playing to the right crowd, Nightwing has just moved to Chicago.
And Kyle, when we get to San Diego, will you be saying that Nightwing had moved to San Diego? Every couple of issues?
Well, I mean, yes. I have nothing in response to that. No, so, this is Brett Booth's 4th issue. He came out with issue 19, which just came out last week. And the idea is that Tony Zuko, the man that killed Dick Grayson's parents, is still alive and living under an alias in Chicago. So Nightwing heads to the Windy City to track down the man that killed his parents. So along the way, we're building a mythology about the city. There haven't been masks in a couple years, and they're all dead. So that's, as to what happened will be something that we'll be kind of weaving in another book. Right up front, though, right off the bat, we've got the Prankster, which is a reinvention of a Superman villain. And once you see the Prankster's motivation and what he's up to, it's going to make a lot of sense why. How it all weaves together with the Zuko plot. It's a blast. and I feel very honored and thrilled to be able to write this book every month. So thank you guys for supporting it.
All right, also coming up in the Bat family, we have Batwing of number 22 with the new Batwing. If you guys haven't seen that, that's getting a lot of strong attention. And All-Star Western continues to have some interesting stuff with Jonah Hex, and you can see right there, looks like it's Arkham Asylum in the background, which is a good segue from the Bat books. And then we have Swamp Thing number 22. Charles Soule is the new writer of Swamp Thing. Charles, how's it feel to step into doing Swamp Thing and know that the co-creator of Swamp Thing, Lin Wein, is behind you with a stick?
It's that's when he came up on stage, a little intimidating. But it's I'm having an incredibly fantastic time writing Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is a character that is near and dear to my heart, as I think he's probably. One of the things that I really noticed as I've been writing the book is that there's a lot of people who love Swamp Thing and have loved Swamp Thing for a really long time. Thanks, obviously, to the work of those who came before me. And it's just great. I think people have, only the first issue of my run's been out. Number 19 was built on obviously the fantastic work that Scott Snyder did. But I'm having a blast with it. I hope people continue to read it. I'll tell you a little about 22 to get you excited to read it. As you can see from the cover there, it's a Constantine guest stars. One of the things that I'm enjoying about something Scott did for me was he set it up so that Swamp Thing could once again travel through the green. He could basically go anywhere in the world that he wants to do in the blink of an eye, which means I can set stories anywhere in the world that I want to set them. So in this particular story, it's set in a small village in the Scottish Highlands called Fetters Hill. And the sort of, it's a two-parter, so you got 22 and 23. The sort of engine that starts the story running is that in the middle of the village green in that Fetters Hill village in Scotland, a tree sprouts out of the green. And the tree dispenses the most incredible whiskey, Scotch whiskey, anyone has ever had. And so that starts so great. The little depressed town can revitalize itself, start bottling this whiskey, and everything's going to be so great. But it doesn't stay great, and I think it takes a really nicely horrific turn that I think hopefully people will enjoy and read to their kids, and it'll be nice. So that's 22 and 23. It's the arc is called The Whiskey Tree, and I hope you'll enjoy it when it comes out. It is a real thing. There are whiskey trees everywhere. You just have to look. Just have to look.
Next up, we have the creative team, the writers of Green Team, Teen Trillionaires. You also know them for their work on Tiny Titans and Superman Family Adventures, and because I believe they have a comic shop here in the neighborhood, Art and Franco.
Comics located in beautiful downtown Cookie. Yeah, that's it. That's cool. I didn't see the cover yet. That's JP Houston on the roof, sprinkling money. And Cecilia with her cheetah cub and Prince Mo. And I think that's Commodore Drive. It has to be, right? Yeah, that's her story. Yeah. It's cool.
You want to know anything about the book?
There's not too much trouble.
The one question we get asked a lot is, how does this fit into the DC New 52? And we're going to smack you right in the face with that, and the Batmobile on mission number 2.
Yeah, Batmobile's in there, Slade's in number 3. I call him Slade because of the Tiny Titans, but that's all the way. And he does it for the money, he hates these kids. You're going to love it.
I don't think there's anyone that does like it. But.
No, he's the Teen Trillionaires, they got all access to everything. They got all access to DC 52 universe. And since we're in DC, where Batman and Superman exist, anyone who says, will they ever appear, and answers yes, eventually they will all be in it. Those guys will probably be in the new Justice League in about 20 years. It's going to be awesome. They do whatever they want with the money they have, because money means nothing. Ooh. Is that a new moment?
I think so. How was that? Was that good?
It was pretty good. It was much better than I expected from the start.
Oh.
Cecilia has a robot arm too. You're gonna like that. It's like Michael Jackson with the glove. It's gonna catch on everywhere. It really does. That's really in the book.
People are going to be cutting off their arms and replacing them with robot arms? Is
We
that...
didn't say
She
it was
gets
gonna be a come-up. We didn't say that.
It's a risky procedure.
Yeah, she kind of gets infected. That's the wrong word though.
Yeah.
It becomes one with the universe.
You want to read the book.
You guys should get it. It's awesome.
You had me at sprinkling money.
There you go. Better than a whiskey.
Everything we say is true. There's gonna be a whiskey tree in there, but they're all under 21, so nobody uses it.
More for smart things.
Yeah,
I knew when I showed you guys the escalator to get up here that I should have thought better of it.
and Bob Wayne makes an appearance on the cover, number 5. What is that, number 5? No. He's in there. Franco's in all my books.
retailer incentive?
I believe that would be a retailer's disincentive, Brian, but thank you for helping me out with that. So, kind of the flip side, the counterpoint to this, these guys who have all this money,
Yeah.
represented by the lifestyle that Art and Franco live with their
Yeah.
fancy clothes at conventions and stuff. We have The Movement, and that's by Gail Simone. Can you follow up on that? Do you have any children in a Batmobile or a whiskey tree in the movie?
Yeah, I don't know how I can follow them, but the cover is done by Amanda Connor, by the way, but I do all the interiors. It's both fun and dark, so it's an interesting mix of tones that Gail Simone is very good at, and all I can really say about the story, because I'm not so much involved in the story planning part, is that there's an awful lot of story mixed in there that almost kills me to draw. No, there's just a lot going on, and that Gail, even though a lot of these are brand new characters that she's created just for the movement, they seem very fully fleshed out, very realized. And so what I mean is, it feels like these characters have a long history, even though they're brand new to the story, or brand new to the page. Just that in conversations that I've had with Gail, that it seems like they're fully realized in her head. So I think that's one of the reasons that she's such a great writer. So that's pretty much it. I'm working on issue 3 right now, and each issue feels more big and more fun to work on. So I hope that you guys enjoy it proportionally as it goes on.
All right, thanks a lot. Next up, we're going to talk about, since I mentioned we have the co-creator of Swamp Thing, I believe also the co-creator of Wolverine, Mr. Lynn Wein, is down here at the table. Lynn? And Lynn, you were also the original editor of Watchmen, and you've been working on the Before Watchmen project.
That's what I've been doing.
What can you tell us about how do you feel now that you've wrapped this up?
I'm a little disappointed, only in that J.G. Jones was so slow that the last book of the series out was The Last Comedian 6. And I really had wanted Ozzy to be the last book out, because the last panel sort of ties into the very first panel of Watchmen proper. And I thought there was a nice circular element to it. My favorite part, people have known for years that Alan and I disagreed about the ending of the original Watchmen. And the thing I'm most happy about in Ozymandias is I sort of got to deal with that one way or another and give myself closure, if nothing else. And of course, the trade paperback comes out, the hardback.
The hardcover is coming out
in
this summer.
July. Yes.
Yep.
So buy it. Because
And you also did the dollar bill one shot.
I did. With Steve Rude, which was an adventure and a half. And I mean, in only the best possible ways. He was great to work with.
And that's a great Steve Rude cover as well.
Got one of the best.
All right. Thank you, Lynn. Next up, as you may have heard, we're going to be doing some Batman comics based on the look of the 1960s television series, which we have called Batman 66. Wearing powdered makeup and not shaving a mustache is Jim Chadwick, the editor of this project.
So this is like more fun with a Batman comic than we could ever possibly have. The art we're seeing here is by Jonathan Cates. He's drawing the first arc, which will feature the Riddler and Catwoman. And as you can see, this is the first time DC has ever done a Batman comic based on the television series, and right down to Cesar Romero and his little mustache there. And so it's just great fun. Jeff Parker is writing this. He was born to write it. He's just having a great time with it. Jonathan Case, as I said, is drawing the first arc. We're working on a King Tut story. And we're also working on a Killer Croc story, and I know Killer Croc was never on the TV show, but if you sort of imagine if he had been, it would be some guy in a cheesy rubber mask, so that's the sort of look we're going for. And this will be out in July, digital and print.
You said Killer Croc's gonna be in it? All right, Jim, thanks a lot.
Yeah, imagine Lou Ferrigno, but with a different head. Shave his head instead. There you go. Shave his head.
You can pitch that story to Jim after the panel.
Well, my pitch, me and Kyle talked about, we want to pitch Batman, Beyonce. So you heard it here first. It's coming out. Whether it's by DC or not.
You heard it here
first. Try next year.
You heard it here first and last.
Maybe a one-shot pinup.
I'm going to turn to Brian Azzarello to steer this thing back onto the road. Brian? You and Eduardo are going back into the 100 bullets business?
Yeah, that's why you never say never, huh, Bob? Yeah, when we finished 100 Bullets, we were done with that story. DC still wanted us to do some more, but we were done. We talked about it. And, a few years ago, we were in Spain together, and it happened to be the night that Spain won the World Cup. We were in a cab in this city called Gijón, and everything's going crazy around us. And the world turns to me and says, I think it's time to do 100 bullets again. And I'm like, oh, okay, I have a couple ideas. What about, and I told him, nah, there's more to be said with law. That night we hashed out this miniseries, and it's not what you expect. Sorry. That's all I got, Bob.
Oh, right there. Also want to remind you from Vertigo, we have American Vampire will be coming back, Scott Snyder's book, with the Long Road to Hell. And we also have The Wake coming up soon by Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy. That'll be also from Vertigo. I want to point out to you a couple other things. Now, I understand, it's rough over there. Injustice, God's Among Us, that game, have you even played the game yet? Mr. Chadwick, what can you tell us about what's coming up in the comic? I mean, besides the fact that the first issue is going back for a third printing, the second issue is going back for a third printing, the third issue is only going back for a second printing right now. Eventually I'm going to learn how to set the print runs.
Well, first of all, it comes out digitally every Tuesday, a new chapter, 10 pages, and then every 3 chapters are collected into the print edition. Tom Taylor is doing a terrific job writing this, and we have a variety of artists, Tom Durenick, Jeremy Ridpack, Mike Miller, and in this particular story arc that's coming up where you see Shazam, we're actually going to have a 10-page Kevin Maguire story. So it's going to be a lot of fun seeing Kevin drawing all of these iconic DC characters beating the tar out of each other, because that's kind of what the game is all about. So it's a fun series, and I hope you read it.
All right. Thanks, Jim. A couple more things we want to mention to you. First, coming up at the end of May, you'll be able to go into your favorite local comic shop and pick up absolutely free DC's new Essential Graphic Novels catalog and chronology. And inside it will have a guide for the reading order of how we think you should read our various characters. Because that way we'll have something we can argue with you about next year. So we're looking forward to all of you, your feedback, and we think it'll be a great tool for you to help have a checklist to figure out which books you might be missing, things you want to give as gifts. If people are asking you questions about, what's the right book to start with? We're going to have our top 25 essential things for people to start with in our backlist books, and we're very proud of the number of books that we have available for you to buy and every day at your local comic shop and bookstore and on the internet. So we wanted to give you this great thing. And did I mention that they're going to be free? That's pretty cool. They're free. Also, while you're at the convention, stop by the Graffiti Designs booth, 818, and you can buy these 2 convention exclusives. We have, I think they're self-explanatory. We have a little something from the Green Lantern universe, a little something from the Aardman version of the Batman family right there. So if you've seen those shorts on the DC Nation block on Cartoon Network, now they come to life in your home, just like that. All right, so that wraps up our all-access panel portion. Now, if any of you have questions for us, if you will calmly and quietly line up behind this microphone in the center of the room, only coming up to ask the most positive, uplifting questions.
That's all I ever have.
Because we know the guy who sits right by the mic when he comes in the room has nothing but good cheer to spread to all of us.
Always. I first want to start off and say I'm an avid DC fan. I love what you did before the new 52. I love the new 52. If it was the new 104, I'd be buying that too. So, I don't know if this is a panel to ask this, but I'll ask it anyway. With the new 52, there was a very concerted effort to bring forth the Wildstorm characters into the DC universe proper. I was definitely a fan of that. I didn't even know who most of those characters were prior to that, to that venture. But I'm definitely loving seeing Rifter next to, Batman and whatever have you. And so I'm glad you are diversifying the DC universe as it's always been. There was the Charlton characters and there was the Fawcett characters, So my question is, there was a slight effort to see the Milestone characters come forth in the DC universe. I would love, and I know I don't just speak for myself in this, but I would love to see more of that happen, especially obviously Static, characters like Icon, Hardware, and Rocket. To me, Icon to me represents, when you have the big wigs in the DC universe, you have Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Shazam. He stands next to them in terms of power-wise, and so I would love to see some of those characters come back too.
All right, and how many of you guys would like to see those characters come back? Then we'll talk to our colleagues at Milestone Entertainment, and we'll see if we can make something happen. All right, next question.
My question is for Mr. Azzarello. I want to say that I love what you're doing with Wonder Woman right now. I think the book is incredibly intelligent, and anything that makes me go to Wikipedia to look up Greek pantheons and the new gods at the same time is completely on the right track. I was wondering if you could maybe talk a little bit about what you've got going forward for that story.
What am I gonna do? I don't want to tell you that. That's part of the fun of reading these things, right?
That's true.
I mean, don't you want to be surprised?
Spoil it.
I mean, in 20, what's out now?
19.
19, okay. Oh, that's the one where she kissed the lion. Yeah.
Best panel, best page I've read all year.
Thanks. Okay, let's see. Oh, we're going to New Genesis in 2 issues. So, you're going to see the New 52 version of the brilliance of Jack Kirby. Filters through my immediately.
Thank you.
Sure.
I have 2 questions for you guys. Why don't you guys have a booth out on the floor? And my other question is...
Anybody else who has that question, go sit down.
And my other question is, do you guys plan on bringing Damian Wayne back and with the serum that brought the challenge back to life?
Bob, I got that. That's happening in Wonder Woman in issue 25.
I believe that's the answer to both of your questions. We chose this year to be participating with the programming, and we have a number of panels like this one so that you guys can interact with us and talk to us, and we'll see how that works out for us. But I'm going to guess from the tone of your question, you weren't saying that was the best idea ever. It was just something you said there, yeah. And this is not the Rosebuds the Sled panel where we, what will this dead character come back because of this particular way? Oh yeah, we tell people that all the time in advance. So no, and no. Thank you.
Hi. I have actually 2 questions. First one for Kyle Higgins. In Nightwing number 19, what's up with Western Blue Line? Like, why Western?
Well, of all the train lines, it's my least favorite. So, no, I wanted to pick a place that. Okay, honestly, the honest answer is that I wanted a place where you have a great vantage point of Sears Tower for that opening double pitch spread. And so the train lines have made sense. It made sense on the blue line. Plus, I've got him kind of in Wicker Park area. So it just kind of made sense. And it wasn't the art. I mean, the art's awesome. So it's the right decision, right? Okay.
So since the New 52 happened, and I'm a huge fan of Batman, all the continuity that happened. Since the New 52 started and a lot of stuff was gone, the one thing that really bugs me, because I'm a huge Damian fan, I don't know if anybody else is, but if
he is,
but if Batman's been operating only for 5 years and supposedly slept with Talia 6 years ago, how was Damian 10?
Didn't you think you'd asked enough when you wanted to know why he chose a particular spot in Chicago?
That'll be addressed in Wonder Woman 25.
You can pick your no prize at the door.
I'm really a big fan of DC Comics, and I've been reading DC books for a long time. I feel like as I got older, DC was a place to go that Marvel was kind of getting younger and DC was getting older, and I really appreciate that. I do have to say this, all this stuff with writers being on books for an issue, writers changing, I don't know what the story is behind it. I don't know if I really even care. It, to me, appears though that you're now putting out potentially a subpar product because you're putting out a book that is suddenly the writer is different after what the initial plan was. And again, that's just my perception. I don't know if that's the reality behind it, but again, that's how I feel. And honestly, I'm dropping some books because of that. So I just want to put that out.
Okay. I can assure you that nothing that anyone does at DC, the writers, artists, the editors, or at any of the other companies is designed to put out a subpar book. Everything is designed about the best possible book, and if people have a disagreement on how to do that, then, everybody, regroups, we go a different direction. But it's always intended to give you guys the best possible story and the best possible value for your dollar.
So my question comes from the crazier constituency in the audience. It's directed at the Green Team. So since your book will be about teen trillionaires basically spending crap loads of money everywhere, will super excellent, or most excellent super bats be making an appearance, and will him buying Japan be considered canon in the story?
Yeah.
What issue? 25?
You hear a lot of conversation between us, and I said, "Hey, quick, write that down." So I'm writing that down right now.
Unless, of course, Brian gets to it in issue 25.
Memory of Damien Wayne, so thank you for giving them a story idea.
Thank you. No, but seriously, buy Japan.
Okay, I'm going. I'm doing it.
The guy who can't believe that Damien's dead. I know you can. All right, next.
This question is for Brian as well. I absolutely loved all the humor in Wonder Woman 0, all the self-deprecating humor about you being Wonder Woman's sort of father figure.
Yeah, Cliff's a real funny guy.
I was just wondering, did you think that ahead? Did you assume you would get a lot of hatred for giving Wonder Woman a father? So you basically put yourself as saying oh yeah, she should have a father, so I'm going to be that father.
Wait, what just happened?
Well, it's
Aren't I clever?
it's pretty obvious Ward is he looks like you.
Yeah, and like I said, Cliff's a real funny guy. Did we figure we were going to get a little bit of blowback for giving her father? Yeah. Did we also figure, having her trained by war was going to get a little blowback? Yeah. When we did Wonder Woman 0, we thought, well, let's do this like a Silver Age story. I mean, it's supposed to be this, take place prior to the New 52. It's let's tell an old style kind of story. It was great. We really flew that book under the radar. We were working really late, really close to the deadline, so nobody could tell us no. That's a great idea. And we got it out there, and the response was fantastic. So hopefully, those kind of books, we take those kind of risks. I hope that kind of stuff rubs off on some other people doing these books, so that they're not so safe all the time. They really yeah. I'm glad you like it. Thanks.
You got robbed at the Eisners again.
A what?
You got robbed at the Eisners again.
Hey, they don't. What do you mean? Thank you.
After getting Brian Azarello to say thank you, please come up. Something never before heard in Chicago. So.
Hi, I was wondering, and I can't remember what the exact issue was, but in Green Arrow, there was, kind of on the last pages how they say, next, and they have a couple of words. It said, in next issue, Black Canary, and then nothing. And I was just kind of wondering.
If you look in the background on page 3 of the following issue, there's a Black Canary.
No, I mean, are there I don't know how far ahead you guys write, but did the story change and just shift, or was that kind of?
Huh? Yeah, it had to.
Oh. And are we maybe going to see her at all, or is she kind of not?
Wonder Woman 25.
Maybe.
Okay, I'll take that. I was just curious.
Okay.
Hi, this covers kind of DC Entertainment, both the TV properties and the comics. I might be the only burn survivor in this room right now, and I've noticed that your only burn characters are villains, and The last thing I want to do is go out and start fires like Firefly from Arrow, or take over the world like Lex Luthor, who has unexplained scars on his face right now. I was just wondering, is there going to be a way to like not demonize people who come from different? I mean, I know it's used in stories as a motive, just like losing your parents is like the most common motive to be a superhero. But yeah, I mean, I just don't want to be looked at as a villain because I already have to deal with shit all the time.
I think that actually raises a really good point, which is that I think that it's a challenge to writers to come up with ideas that break through just the obvious way to take stories, and that's what I think everybody's always trying to do, and sometimes it doesn't occur to you right away. But I think, I'm going to remember this conversation. It's always, as I'm writing going forward, and I'm glad you came up and spoke. That's a really fantastic point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This one's more on the entertainment side of
Like we're not always entertaining up here.
You are. But are there any plans to continue the promotions that you guys have been doing with the comics on DC Nation or any other kind of direction?
The DC Nation block continues. It'll have Teen Titans Go and Beware the Batman.
I was talking like the commercial that you guys aired for New 52 as well as before.
There'll be other stuff coming up.
Okay, good.
Not a problem. Did it change your opinion of comics, any of those commercials?
No, I just want to see it more promoted to the...
All right. Yep. No, I mean, we do what we can. John Cunningham is in charge of marketing. He's over there making notes right now. So.
I just wanted to say first that I think that all of the work you guys do is pretty incredible. So I applaud you. I really do. Thank you guys. But one thing during the presentation that really has been kind of on my mind, this is for you, Art Balthazar.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
You got this.
You got him to say he's sorry. Isn't that enough? You have to tell him what he did in front of the crowd.
You got this yellow dot.
Yeah. That's Adventure Bug.
What is that?
He's a mascot for IA Comics.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, your books at our booth. The colored issue 2 of IA Comics.
I was just wondering, it's really cool.
I just noticed it right now.
So you see what I did there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But like I said, thank you guys. You guys do a lot of great work.
No.
This message is Ryan. Are you spending autographs at all during your weekend here?
Yes.
When?
The next scheduled one is Sunday at 12 o'clock at the Hero Initiative booth.
1 o'clock Sunday. Thank you.
Sure. You should, wait, you know what? If you got anything with you, I'll sign it after we're done here. All right, there.
You can't hear the weeping of the lady who's in charge of clearing us out at the end of the I can see it back in the back of the room.
Yeah, I have a table in the Hyatt bar, so.
Two quick questions. First of all, you mentioned DC Nation. I don't think I just speak for myself when I say it's a sad day when Young Justice is gone. Please give us some hope, false or otherwise.
False hope's better than no hope.
That's exactly right. Can we see?
Didn't the Teen Titans Go kind of come back?
Listen.
Those fans were upset. We gave them false hope, and it turned out to work out.
Oh, I see your point.
Hopefully there's something we're doing that you're okay with.
Oh yeah. I told you I'm being the new 104. I mean,
all right, I kind of forgot. got that when you got
Right. Well, I mean, I just, as a suggestion, I would say that maybe we could see that in, I know you got the guys for this, but maybe we could see that translated into like animated movies or like you do with everything else. Maybe that is a way to keep it alive, because there's a huge fan base for that. I'm sure you know the positions.
The guys who work on Young Justice, with Warner Brothers Animation, I don't think it would be any trouble to get them to agree with you as well. Obviously, a lot of your fans, and we'll make sure that we mention that to our colleagues at Animation. So
Cool.
thank you for your support.
Absolutely. Second question, I know that none of the writers are writing this, but does anybody know if we're going to see, obviously my favorite character is the Marvel family, Shazam.
Captain Marvel.
Shazam. Shazam. The lightning's about to hit me now. So my question is, are we going to see, I'm a definite fan of Black Adam. Are we going to see Osiris and Isis return at some point, or any kind of inclination towards that?
You're going to see more stuff involving Shazam.
Captain Marvel.
Shazam.
It's rough when we can't get away from Jeff Johns with that. But you've been reading the Shazam stories in the back of Justice League, and we're going to collect all those into a book, and there'll be some other stuff coming up. Okay. All right, I'm with you.
I'm a big Swamp Thing fan, obviously. I have him on my shirt and on my body. I have a Swamp Thing tattoo. That I actually had Lynn sign last year and then get his signature tattooed on me. Which he shook his head.
You had Lynn's signature tattooed on you.
Yeah. He's like, in 30 years, when you see a dude's name on your arm, you're going to be like, what did I do? I disagree. I'm a big fan of Swamp Thing and everything.
You've been cashing my checks again using that.
Big fan of Swamp Thing. Everything he's done with Swamp Thing up to Charles is doing Swamp Thing now is awesome. And I love how he's like more integrated into the DC universe now. And just the fact that he's like making guest appearances, and for a while he was gone and now he's everywhere. And I love that. But the reason I'm such a fan is being a child of the 90s. For some reason there was this big push for Swamp Thing in the 90s. We had of course, Wes Craven's film that just came out in the 80s, and then the less popular but my favorite, Return of Swamp Thing. Great movie. But then we had the short-lived animated series that only had 5 episodes, and I swear, my childhood memory remembers there being 16 seasons of Swamp Thing, but I'm sure I just watched the same 5 episodes over and over. But I had every figure from the toy line. I'm just wondering, is there any way that any chance that we'll see Swamp Thing in the animated movies or things like that kind of make appearances outside of the comics, more of a push for Swamp Thing like there was in the 90s?
I guess we're going to see how this whiskey tree thing works out.
I'd love a giant whiskey tree playset for my
Rarely am I more terrified than I've been right now. Tell you what, let's go over to the Hyatt after a while. We'll see if I can charge lunch using the Lin Wein signature on your shoulder. I think you just need to be patient. You've seen Swamp Thing come back into the DC continuity with the New 52. It's been, a surprising success. Charles is doing some really interesting stuff. I really liked, his 19 was his debut. Had a nice appearance by another DC character. If you haven't read it yet, I don't want to spoil it. But I think that you should, there's a lot of stuff going on for the character. So don't give up hope. It's not even false hope. That's why I was dishing out earlier, but now I think you've got real hope.
Hey,
I hope you have something else to ask about, too.
I really appreciate all the work you guys do, and we appreciate as fans everything y'all do. It really means a lot to us. These characters we love so much mean a lot to us. So, that said, I came into the New 52 kind of kicking and screaming because I liked our current continuity pre-Flashpoint. But I'm all about embracing change and trying new things, and there are certain things I like and certain things I don't like, and I really miss Superman's red trunks on the outside because that's the way I grew up, and that's the way he's supposed to be, and they're not there. So I just hope that somewhere in the multiverse, there's some version of Superman somewhere that still wears red trunks on the outside. But that said, like I said, I can embrace change. What I do like, and what I am a big fan of in the New 52 is this relationship between Superman and Wonder Woman.
Yes.
It's good to see New together like this.
So, yeah, you all may not have direct knowledge because I don't think any of you are directly writing those books, but I hope that this is not something that we'll play with for just a little while, and then we'll revert back to the status quo with regular Superman and Lois and their boring old
And there's
relationship.
nothing in the 77 years of our company make you think we would ever do something like that.
So can we get any reassurances that, I don't ever believe that this will last forever, but can we get any reassurances that the Superman and Wonder Woman relationship will at least endure for a good while?
At least it's a Wonder Woman 25.
All right, I have two questions. One, kind of I'm glad to see with Threshold coming out now, we actually get to see K-Rod. I'm hoping that like possibly Earthsea somewhere, somehow, backstory, older characters, just saying. Maybe the Zoo Crew somewhere, just saying. Second, the new 52 now has Channel 52 in the back. What a great way to start promoting something else, going into a YouTube channel, something like that. It's nice to see Amber's Bug, maybe Cat Grant somewhere, something to that effect, but utilizing that to promote other things. Just some helpful hints and thoughts. But,
Thank you.
great way to do that.
I draw that. Thank you.
No, thank you. That's an idea.
Thank you.
All right, just got time for a couple more questions, so nobody else please get in the line. We'll try to get through everybody who's in the line. Sir?
I'll try to make it quick. So I'm a huge fan of the Arrow TV series on, what is it, WB, CW, whatever it's called now. It's fantastic.
Arrow won the CW on Wednesday evening.
Yes, it's a brilliant show. Really excited about Man of Steel coming out this summer. My question is, are there any plans to expand the DCU in live action, whether it be on TV? Obviously, there's going to be more movies coming, but what about TV? I remember as a kid, the Flash series coming out, and I dug the Flash series as a kid. So I was just wondering if there's going to be any more representation for live action DC coming up anytime soon.
Yes, next question.
Hi there, everyone. I'm a huge fan, and I gotta commend you because it's really nervous being out here in front of everyone. So anyway, I have a question regarding the Green Team and the movement. I'm just wondering if there's some sort of dichotomy between the two books. Are they going to be closely related? Will one book see an event in one light, like comically, like Green Team?
Yeah, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If Gail wants to throw down, I'm
Okay. So right now they're just separate, but
Yeah, I'm gonna add on. I added in, you know those robots we're looking for Han Solo's ship in the special edition when the stormtroopers walk around and there's gonna be something like that going on between both books. It's true. I'm looking forward to one. It is. It's gonna be taking photos.
All right, now a question from a TARDIS.
I'm a huge John Constantine fangirl. And with the success of John Constantine and Hellblazer, and now with the new Constantine series coming out, and it not being on Vertigo, there's a lot of speculation about it being a lot more PG and toned down and more aimed to like the younger crowd, and just with the new 52s in general, just trying to bring in a lot more younger readers. Is that true? Is that what's really the motive behind all of that? And
Absolutely true. Look for our Hellblazer Underroots coming later. You know, there's a lot of, I mean, I think that in many ways, the Swamp Thing, Animal Man, Justice League Dark, Constantine stories that are being published in New 52 are not substantially different from the kind of storytelling that was being done with those characters at Vertigo. So I think that you just need to kind of stick with us. Constantine #1 and #2 have both sold out. We're going back to press, so the demand seems to be greater than even what our retailers expected. So just kind of give it a shot and we'll see how you feel next year. Okay?
This is a question about Swamp Thing.
Great.
Yeah, the whole whiskey tree thing. It sounds like you did a lot of research on all sorts of plants and whatnot. I was just wondering if there was any other unique plants or plants you wanted to try and do, but couldn't.
The plant approval process at DC, everything else is smooth. They are rigorous about the plants. So, it's an ongoing battle. I struggle with it every issue. I got a list. I'm kind of checking them off. We'll see. Stick with it. We'll get there together.
there any chance for a Whiskey Tree miniseries?
You know, the audience demands it. Look at it. Oh, I think that's what Arts would write. I think Arts would write this. Yeah, you'd be perfect for that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we'll get it done.
Wow, we've only got time for one more question and 15 more answers from us, so go ahead.
So I really just have kind of one question about the Wonder Woman Superman thing, and that's you know, and really back when Wonder Woman's powers were taken away and that type of thing, it was done with the idea of, you know, empowering the character, and it actually had that type of, you know, terrible backlash, and that it did the opposite of what the intent was. I guess my question, and even kind of my concern with Wonder Woman, isn't kind of her gravitating towards the one man in the world stronger than her, kind of against the ideals that Wonder Woman was.
Who says he's stronger than her?
Yeah, I think she's stronger. Okay, fair enough.
And on that chipper note, we would like to thank all of you for taking your time to be here. We also want to remind you once again about the We Can Be Heroes campaign, and we will look forward to seeing you at our other panels during the show. Thank you very much. Thank you.